Welcome, everyone, to Two Guys in Hockey Talk, Season 7, Episode 22, with my wonderful co-host, Evan Renaerts. Evan, how you doing?
Hey, we're 55% the way through the year already. Can you believe it? It's just
That's
like,
all I need in high school gym just to get through, so I'm okay. Let's do
it. No, doing good. It's been a good week, and definitely there's a lot of stuff going on in the hockey world, but not as much hockey action. If you are following any hockey outside of NHL, meaning Olympics and or leagues in Europe and throughout the junior leagues, definitely, or semi-pro, there's a lot going on, my friend. What's happening?
Oh, it's been busy, and welcome. I think I'm pronouncing this right. Swervin Yervin. Appreciate it. Welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. We are out of Edmonton, Alberta, but we talk all things hockey.
All right. So, hey, why don't we get this started? We got a lot to cover today. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to get into all the, like NHL, we got a lot of stuff we want to talk about. And that is also around trades and the rumors going on. I know if Lost Truckers in or Zill, whichever you want to go by today. Right now, she's off the road, not trucking at the moment, so maybe she's going by Zill. But she always says, it's just like, oh, these are just rumors. There she is. Okay, there will be rumors today, Zill, and we will talk about rumors, but we're going to wait a little while before we get into that. So, yeah, why don't we start this off? Let's start talking about hockey here.
For sure. And you don't have to worry about being a Canucks fan. You don't have to hate yourself. You're going through a rebuild and you've got some good pieces around you. And to be frank, we'll get into it, but Filip Hronek has performed very well for Czechia today. He was very impressive, but we'll get into that later. But go ahead, Evan.
Yeah, and if I can just say this, Swervin, you actually will have some good days ahead. Get ready for some management changes. I think they're just going to ride this management out until they get the draft picks that they need and then make some changes. Not sure. What I'm worried about is that Alvin goes and Rutherford still sticks around when they got to remove both of those guys, I think, out of there. They've literally taken that team. I mean, Bo Horvat is sitting there literally in the playoffs, and you're sitting there going, what's going on? And
I mean, the Olympics.
Playoffs. I'm talking about the Olympic playoffs is what I'm referring to. I guess that's a good catch, though, because some people are going to go, where are you, man? I'm watching Olympics, and today was the beginning of what they call the quarterfinals. So, but yeah, let's get into what was your thoughts here around the women's Olympic hockey right now? They're in the gold medal game.
For sure. So, I mean, really what it comes down to is that the Team Canada has a chance for redemption after that very embarrassing 5-0 loss to Team USA in the preliminary round. I like what they did afterwards. They really came up stronger in general, but I really believe that, they've met a few times already, Canada and US, but I mean, I just really believe that Team USA in women's is the team to beat. They're sharp, they're dominant, they're youthful. They look like they have the edge. They can skate better. And I really believe that they need to really get into it. It's going to be exciting tomorrow, right? And so wherever you're watching, I mean, depending on what region of the world you're in our region, it's around 11 a.m. in the morning. So it should be a good morning hockey game is what I think. But I've liked what I've seen so far. I believe Marie Poulin, Filip Poulin is back, and she's been playing very well, and she's been the boost that they needed. But your thoughts, Evan?
Hey, well, this is interesting. So they have met. This is their 10th time that they are going to meet in the gold medal game. 10 times into those games. It's actually kind of crazy when you actually think about it. Like you said, I think USA is also the favorite going into this right now, that their team. But you know what? They came in with a team of younger people. Whereas I think we talked about this last week. The women went in with their team, and they went in with a lot of veterans. And if Poulin was not coming back, this team, I don't even know if they'd be in the final right now. So, but I'm going to say it, and I said it again last week. We got to find a way to get hockey in Europe for women's hockey They have a lot of it, way more than they had in North America, and it was more stable. But we got to get those players and see them developing in the PWHL as well, so we can get the highest of the highest, so that we just don't have two countries dominating most times.
100%. And I really believe that you need to get, you need to grow the game even with the PWHL. And I know it may seem rushed, Evan, but I really believe that it might be a good idea for the PWHL to maybe host some games overseas potentially, or somewhere closer to their timeline, because I think you want to grow the game quicker. And you've seen that the NHL has been successful there. Why not do the same with the PWHL? Maybe at the same time, back to back, right? Something like that. So I'm not the PR person for the PWHL, but this is just a suggestion. And hello, Timu. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I was really impressed today. So let's move over to these games that just occurred today. What an amazing day in Olympic hockey. So I'll tell you what. Let me start with you. You diagnose the next whichever one you want. I'll start with Slovakia and Germany. Is that good?
Sure.
Okay. So I expected Germany had a much better chance in this. Now Slovakia dominated this one in a 6-2 win today to move to face what will now be the United States, advancing very comfortable. They controlled the pace. They pulled away, big statement win for them in this preliminary round. They just dropped them, man, early. What a beatdown. And they dominated really early on. Now, Regenda was unreal. 2 goals and assists. Dvorsky lit it up with a goal and a helper. They just scored these back-to-back, and I think it was 30-some seconds apart. Boom! Game buried. Just like that. And it's like Draisaitl, Stützle. They couldn't handle the speed and the depth, or even the goalie from Slovakia, which I am not even going to say his name. Halavaj. Sorry, I'm just slaughtering it. But he stonewalled them with 25 saves today, and that's against guys that are like Draisaitl and Stützle out there. So anyway, it was a really good game. If you guys didn't get a chance to catch it was on really early. And can I say this? The games on TV, they don't advertise them well, or when I find them on social media, they're telling you all these different places. So for example, one of the games that I'm speaking of in Germany was on early, but it actually said, so you can find them on Sportsnet, CBC, CBC Gem, on TSN. And then of course there's channels in the United States that we're in Canada, Western Canada. So but you don't know that. And they don't come on early. They literally come on last second. So you literally have to sit there and just wait for the channel to turn on. It's not a well televised event anymore. Which one do you want to take?
So I wanted to talk about the Finland versus Switzerland game, because I really like that game. I was surprised at how well Switzerland played close to the end, but then give props to Finland, because they looked a little shaky at the beginning. We talked about it, how, even Mikko Rantanen was playing on the third line, 15 minutes, wasn't really doing as much. Timo here is kind of chiming. And it looked kind of like Switzerland had their number and that they just couldn't figure it out. And yet here's Finland. Sebastian Aho, a snipe, and I made a joke in a group chat with some friends saying, what a finish, right? Like he really was. And then they come in and, they score, they tie it up, they go into OT. And then, in OT, although I'm not a fan of the 3-on-3, you're dealt with the cards that you have, and you go in and you win, and you make a statement game, and you show why Finland is one of the best on the world stage for hockey, right? It took them a while to get going. And it was just so great to see, because Finland has a lot of great players, probably one of the better defensive pairings there with Miro Heiskanen at the top, right? And you want to be able to perform at that level. You do, and you come out on top. And now, on Swiss's side, good for them with Nico Hischier there, Roman Josi there, some good players, but it wasn't enough to get over the hump. And I wonder for some of these coaches why they didn't play a goalie that maybe they felt more comfortable with, or maybe they felt it was okay, but a couple of defensive lapses, and all of a sudden Switzerland is out, even though they could have been facing one of the bigger giants. So I liked the game. It was exciting. It was interesting. All three games went to overtime, which was fascinating. And I want your thoughts quickly before we jump over to
Yeah.
Canada. Yeah, is Sweden and USA, because the same thing. You know, you alluded to it where 1-0. US was very stingy defensively. You know, props to Quinn Hughes, who looks like pretty much a Norris winner at this point, but also Jake Sanderson coming in from from Ottawa and really just performing well at a high level. You know, people talk about the excitement that New York has for Matthew Schaefer. Well, Jake Sanderson is up there. I don't know if you'll ever get that same recognition, but this kid is going to be a star for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, Jake's a steady boy. I mean, I'm not a big Jake Sanderson fan, but I think that he's you kind of like the Jay Bouwmeester, that will always be there. He's going to play tough, going to play hard, can get the points, can move the puck, plays the position well, with it. So, but yeah, I mean, Quinn Hughes is Quinn Hughes. If you watch Cale Makar for Canada and you watch Quinn Hughes for the United States, essentially, if you're not paying attention, you don't see a jersey, you kind of see the same kind of a quarterbacking kind of a play. A lot of the things that I was
just
seeing.
The way his edge work is. If people know, you see how he quickly transitions left to right, side to side. So he was able to get away and give.
Someone else used to do that. In fact, they could do a triple axel on regular skates, and that was our old buddy there, Jeff Skinner, who just got let go. Is for the purpose of buyout. So, but hey, I just want to go back to Finland first.
Toronto potentially to sign him if they do go away and trade Bobby McMahon. But go ahead.
I just wanted to say that Finland, they really flipped that script late. If I remember, even last week we were talking and just kind of just around some of the teams in Finland between the men and the women and stuff and what was going on. Sebastian Aho, again, Heiskanen. I mean, let's face it, they did well. And, Anton Lundell, Barry's the winner, like you were talking about. I mean, I love the trademark resilience that we see from the Finns. You know that they will finish what they started. You guys got that? But these guys never quit. And who's stopping them now? Like they could potentially upset the Canadians. So I'll tell you what, let me take a little time because I want to actually focus in on this Canada game. It was a thriller. I agree, but it should not have been a thriller. Canada trailed multiple times. Nick Suzuki, I was even doubting his play early on, but once they moved him into the center role, he is not a winger. He cannot thrive on the wing. It just it doesn't.
Why he has Caulfield and Slavskovsky up there with Montreal.
And then I think what I recognized and I appreciate today, I saw Marner early and I go, he's like a different player today. He was just playing all over. And so good on him. I mean, of course, you got some people out there joking all around the whole thing with Marner that he was born to wear the maple leaf, like as in Canada, not the Toronto Maple Leafs. So there was some digs in around that one. But let's face it. So Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid. I mean, a couple people just they lost out on their chances. They couldn't finish. He still comes out with 2 more assists, tying the NHL era Olympic record. Binnington, everyone talks about he was solid net. You know what? He was solid in net when it counted. But 2 of those goals for me are on him. Come on. That first goal, I'm tired of hearing.
No, Parayko was on one of them that I believe.
Hang on. The one
St.
play
Louis Parayko.
The one play, the very first goal comes down. He kicks it right out to their player. Big giant rebound. And then he had no chance. Well, you're right. He had no chance because he kicked it to him. It's like a goalie coming out of net. Like, come on. He needs to be able to take that puck in and absorb that thing. So the other part is the next goal. Now, I think it was the second goal, not the third goal. He is way out of position. And then they go, he's got no goalie. He's got no chance as a goalie. He's out of position. Like, what's up with this stuff? Like, call it the way it is. Like, which goalie is going to go on and win an Olympic gold medal, and the guy's playing less than a 900 save percentage still? Yes, he's still coming through when it counts, but what are they going to take the blame when goals are going in that shouldn't be going in and they lose in the next game or two? and they don't even come out with a medal potentially? Like, come on. Like, I don't care. Logan Thompson needs to be in. They got to quit this Bennington trip. Sorry, I know we got people commenting and moving around here, so.
No, fair enough. And we did also want to mention that although US and Canada in the women's are playing for gold, Team Switzerland versus Team Sweden are playing for the bronze in the women's just beforehand. So tomorrow morning the game is on. It's going to be our time around 7 in the morning that it starts, whereas the women's game will be around 11. I'm also not a fan of the fact that the games are very early. I understand that they're in Milano Cortina.
You have no choice.
But you could have had it a little bit later in the day. It's going to be very early for a lot of people. But again, I agree. I think what I noticed is that
they're 10 hours ahead of us, though, right? They're literally 10 hours ahead.
True,
so.
but
they're playing some games at 9 o'clock at night.
I think it's like 2 or 3 afternoon their time.
No, they were playing at 9 o'clock at night for a couple of the games.
Nope. Well, the late one, but the gold medal game is at 2 in the afternoon because they're trying to wrap up the ceremonies early.
For that game.
Sunday.
Gotcha.
What I'm saying, you can't have it a little bit later in the day, but I understand there's other logistics that goes into it. What I wanted to talk about is the fact that all the teams that are in right now, they're all very good teams. And even Czechia today showed why they have a great hockey program over there, because you look at some of the elite talent that was on the team. David Pastrnak, one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. Andre Palat, a multiple Stanley Cup winner. Radko Gudas, a captain of the Anaheim Ducks and a battler. I believe he was on the team in with Florida when they won the Cup 2 years ago. Like the guy is clutch. Like, they have some really incredible players. And I think Elliot Freeman said it best. Nobody wanted to face a hot goaltender. And that's what Lucas Staal was. He was strong. Good for Anaheim for having a great presence between the net, because he was phenomenal. And Canada needs to be a little bit better. Yes, they got lucky with some of the calls. Yes, there was a missed call on too many men on the ice, especially when they hugged after that third goal that they scored. Yes, their coach complained about how they were playing against 6 teams, of which many fans were roasting the Team Chechnya head coach. But at the same time, you know what this is, Evan? This is hockey. This is exciting, high-stakes hockey. You love it. People love this because you get this in the postseason, but you also get this in the Olympics. And I'm so disappointed that we missed a few years of this, because this is the best on best.
So here's a bigger question. You got players going down, and Sidney Crosby, this could be a tough break. I mean, hopefully it's not as bad. And by the way, I don't think it was that hit. He tried to pull back, and his legs went all wobbly on him. I am noticing problems with this ice surface. And I know you talked to me and you asked me early on. I hadn't had a chance to see the men play yet because we talked about 3.5 feet shorter between the blue lines. Yep. And yes, it is fast. It is moving quick. They're not able to trap up in the neutral zone as much as they could normally in the NHL. But one of the things that I'm finding is this is like NHL refereeing and officiating, because they're letting stuff go. I am shocked. I have never seen an Olympics with this kind of refereeing, like having your officials seemingly acting like they're NHL guys. So this is not like at a regular Olympics the way that they're calling it.
100%. There was definitely, and I know they brought over both European NHL coaches, and I know, they're letting a lot of things go, but it's interesting because, like, look at the game between France and Canada, and I think it was Pierre Crinon and the battle that kind of ensued with him and Tom Wilson, and just kind of what took place. And really, he was suspended for the remainder of the tournament by the French Ice Hockey Federation. So I'm like, can you believe that he would be suspended for that, for his actions? Now, he had an incident prior to the game with Canada, but at the same time, Evan, we love that here. We love seeing it, and there's less of it technically in the Olympics than you would see in the NHL, let alone in the postseason. Now, I really think that if you want to grow the game, you have to really allow a few things to happen. At the same time, you have to also be aware that you got to follow the rule book. I mean, there has been some pretty wild calls. For example, Macklin Celebrity getting a penalty shot. That was phenomenal, right? Whether you agree with it or not. And so, and there was, I believe, a slew foot potentially or allegedly by Brady Tkachuk today on one of the Swedish players. I don't know if it was Lucas Raymond. I can't remember who it was. But it looked kind of unnecessary. The injury with Wilson onto Kevin Fiala, like storylines galore, lots is happening, but the refs need to be a little bit more good at game management. I know in the NHL it's a little different. It's inconsistently consistent. Oh, Darlene. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I can remember what it is. But you need a little bit more about it. And so, I don't know. Lou as in Raymond, son of Michael Grant. Yeah, he fell on the back of his head. Yeah, it didn't look pretty. And again, there's some calls. I mean, the reason Wilson went after Crinon was the hit that he had on McKinnon, right? I mean, that wasn't a really good play either, but things happen in the game on a shorter ice, less space, and you do what you can. Now, I feel for Crosby because that's a big loss, but
that's huge.
Excuse me, but he has an MRI planned right now. It's possible that he may, just be there. And then who do you draw back in, Evan? Do you bring in Bennett or no?
Yeah, well, I don't know why they pulled Bennett out. You brought him in.
Injury. He's dealing with.
Yeah, but why Seth Jarvis? Seth Jarvis was an ad after Bennett, though. Bennett was the first call up, and so Bennett should be in there. Bennett's played well. He fits the role better. I feel like Seth Jarvis should not have been in there. That like today.
I like what he brings. I like what
Jarvis. I don't see. You tell me what he brought. What did he bring?
He's got more speed. He's got.
Speed. Okay, hang on. So he had speed, and but what good is speed if you don't have the puck? Like essentially, the guy couldn't carry the puck.
What did Bennett do? What did Bennett do in his time when he was in the games?
So the one thing with Bennett is he knows how to play defense, whereas Seth Jarvis doesn't know how to play defense. And right now, this is a horrendous defense. These guys can't transition the puck up.
Play defense for a hot Carolina team? Come on, Evan.
So Colton Parayko has one of the worst right now.
We're not talking about Colton Parayko. We're talking about.
No. I'm talking about defense. I'm talking about defense. Okay. You're the one that's going back on the other. I was trying to finish my comments.
Okay.
I don't even know what I was talking about now because you interrupted me.
You're comparing Sam Bennett why he should be in over Seth Jarvis, and I was asking you why, and you said it was because he's the better defender.
He's a better defender.
I disagree. I think it's because he's injured, and so they brought in Seth Jarvis, who has a bit more speed and spunk.
Oh, hang on. What are you disagreeing? You're disagreeing he didn't come in because he's injured, or you're disagreeing that he's not as good defensively?
He kept, Come on. He can't play defense? Come on, Evan.
Look at this. Okay, what's Timo saying? What's Timo saying?
I'm sorry, what the fudge? Jarvis cannot play defense. He literally kept Carolina in the series
versus
New Jersey. He was
I do not think he did. Man, he had Jarvis some good plays and he had a good game.
Bennett has a 1.3. Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah, hang on. Okay, if we're gonna start bringing in with the +5 and the +1.3, then we need to look at the team game here because it is not only on them. It's also on the players that they have to play with. And right now, Florida is a fudge pack.
So if you want to make you got to defend your decision. If you're going to argue,
well, I don't have to. I am defending my decision. I am defending my decision.
Okay. You're saying Bennett is a better defender than Jarvis.
I think he's better than Jarvis. I think Jarvis is way overrated. I do not think he's a good player. I do not think he should have even been close to being a call-up on this team. Not at all. And I think he's been a waste out there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about Parayko? What are your thoughts on Parayko?
Oh, well, my thoughts on Parayko is is he a defenseman? I guess that's what I got to ask. I'm wondering if he's a pylon and not a defenseman. Because, man, that guy can't move. And when he moves, he gives the puck away. I feel like I'm watching.
You are just hounding the Canadian players. What I think you're getting is a bit of the defensive capabilities of Colton Parayko when he's playing this year in St. Louis. What you're not getting is the Colton Parayko that you expected at Four Nations. I actually
don't think he was very good at Four Nations. I think that he wasn't very good. He shouldn't even be
They wanted a big body who can play out there and log some big minutes. So would you consider bringing Sam Heinen back? Or do you let Josh
I would
Morrissey
bring Travis
healthy?
Sanheim
I
in
know
and
that
take him out.
Josh
Yeah.
Morrissey has been injured, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I would put Sanheim in. Parayko needs to go out. Go check how many high danger chances that he opens himself up to. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he is the worst defenseman on this team. And by the way, where's their puck moving defenseman? So Josh Morrissey, he was the only backup. See, again, not because I live in Edmonton, nothing to do with it. Evan Bouchard should have been on the team, even if he was in seventh, as a seventh defenseman. So one of those high-end guys go down, he pulls in, especially being on the right side. Yeah. There was a need for him to be on this team. And I am right now telling you, I don't know if they win gold unless they go supernova. And if Crosby doesn't come back, they're going to have a hard time winning. If Crosby comes back, I think they can do it. But they might need Crosby against the Finns to be able to pull this one out.
Well, I think wants to know what's the best defenseman that you had snubbed. So I'm guessing Evan Bouchard. I would say Matthew Schaefer. I think Matthew Schaefer would have been a breath of fresh air.
You know what? I think he's never played under pressure. He has all the skill set. I agree with that 100%. But the Matthew Schaefer, so what's Timo saying? Go ahead.
Same guy who said Matthew Schaefer sheltered, but statistically he's facing better competition than Bouchard, Taves, Harley, Forsling, and Hronek.
Yeah, remember zone starts though too. He's starting in an offensive zone, and he's getting all the power play time.
Pleasantly surprised about how well Harley has played, but Harley has really elevated his game, and it goes to show you why he was picked again.
Just coming back to swerving. So one of the things with we were talking about with Schaefer, he has all the skills to be there, but he's never played under that kind of pressure. And so they're not going to bring a guy in, no matter how skilled he was.
Can I counter? It's called Macklin Celebrini. Has he ever played under this kind of pressure? No.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
He's in his full second year, and he's supernova. Matthew Schaefer's doing good, but he ain't no supernova.
But
it's not even close. They are not two comparables. One guy had 17 games before he was drafted.
Why didn't Bedard get picked?
Why didn't he?
I agree. And Swervin says same people said the same thing about Doughty in 2010. I agree. Doughty was a young kid.
What about
that he shouldn't have been picked for that team back in 2010, and then he was picked.
I actually thought he was the right call in 2010, though.
Yeah, and I think Schaefer should have been there. I understand why.
I did not think Doughty should have been picked on this team. I've actually been impressed with Doughty. I got to be honest with you. So,
and I've been kind of met with him. He's just been kind of okay. I don't think he's really stood out.
So you'd rather take Parayko and sit?
I didn't say Parayko. I would have had Bouchard and Schaefer.
I just thought you were a Parayko lover.
You see the way that McKinnon and McDavid and before the injury going down, Crosby moved the puck up the ice and wanted to get it. Even what's it called? Not Braden Point, but Brendan Hagel, and how he moved quickly up the ice. Right? You want that puck quickly up to the other side. So
yeah. Lost Trucker says even the speed skaters and figure skaters having problems with the ice. Yeah, the ice has been pretty rough.
I like this chat. You guys are getting spicy. Well, we're trying to keep it respectful, but yeah, it's been fun. Lost Trucker says Shaver had 80 points in the last 20 games. He has metered off in the cliff. I don't know. He's going to win the Calder. That's my prediction, and I think it's going to come to fruition. I still think it's Canada's to lose, and it's a face-off between them and Team USA.
And keep Binnington in, and you have a good chance to lose.
Well, what if you start Logan Thompson?
I think they win. I honestly, even without Crosby, if they put, I just don't trust Binnington. I just don't trust him. Like you have a lower than that. If they had 30 shots on goal, this game's over.
Can I just say I applaud Darcy Kempfer for coming out because he gets a great trip to Milan. I hope he gets the chance to play, but man, if he doesn't, he gets a great trip to Italy. But because I know he can be an elite goaltender and he can really perform, especially for the LA Kings. But it'll be interesting to see what are your thoughts on Team USA and kind of what they have to do to potentially now win gold and get to the promised land. And some of the comments made by Matthew Tkachuk to Leon Draisaitl in that game about being the bridesmaid, not the bride.
Well, you know what? He's a talker. He's an agitator. He's a shift disturber. SHIFT, just so we clarify that there. He does what he does. He gets under there and that's the way he plays. Draisaitl could care less what he said. He just ignored him. He even had an interview with the German stations and just laughed it off as if who really cares, what he says around it. But yeah, I mean, Matthew is Matthew. I think what they constantly do, those Kachucks, especially Matthew, he gives fodder for the other team to get riled up. It's like in a football team, you try not to trash talk too much off the field. You try to do it on the field so you don't say stuff that comes back to haunt you and gives them something to kind of get behind them on. So that's one of the things I think that becomes a difficulty piece. So, but
100%.
anyway, you know what? It's been a great, I think it's showing you it is best on best.
I love it. I think we need it. And I will make one other comment. I don't know if you saw it, because teams have started practicing again because the NHL is going to get started here next week. So we're going to start watching some hockey back again, which I'm excited about. But some reporters asked Alexander Ovechkin if he's been watching the Olympics. And of course, he indicated that no, he's not paying attention at all. And we know comments about it. And I still believe, regardless of what's going on geopolitically, it would be great to see Russia back in the Olympics, because I'd love to see what kind of damage or how well they would fare versus other countries like the US, like Canada, like Slovakia, like Germany, right? I would love to see what happens. The other thing that I'm watching for Team USA, Evan, and I think you'd agree with me, is Connor Hellebuck, and Lost Trucker indicated this, playoff Hellebuck. Is he going to be able to sustain that? Because he's struggled in big moments. I know he's an excellent goalie, multiple Vezina winner.
Played well today.
Sure. He played very well today. But again, the team in front of him played very well. I'm sure Bill Guerin and Brass are very happy with what they've done. I think on that team, Zach Werenski. I think he's very underratedly having a great time. Now, I know Quinn Hughes, we talked earlier about him, but I think Werenski doesn't get enough credit. And I wish people would recognize what an elite defenseman, what high IQ that kid has for playing the game. So that's pretty much about everything around the Olympics. Anything else you want to say before we move over to
I would like to say today, though, it was really interesting watching the dog cross the finish line. I don't know if you guys caught it.
Yes, I saw that.
But they had coming down as they were crossing, I forget which event it was, with their skis as they're crossing over. The dog came in behind and got up onto the Jumbotron. So
all right, and so quickly before we jump in, so everyone wanted to know what's your starting five if Russia's in the Olympics? Left wing, center, right wing, DD. Okay, so here's mine. I'll quickly go and I'll let you jump in. Mm-hmm. So on the wings, you have Kaprizov and Kucherov, just because of how good they are. Now, I know they're not as strong in the middle, but I would put Buchnevich there because I just love that name. Pawel, what a great guy, right? On defense, I would have of my top probably Sergachev and maybe Zadorov, although again, it depends off if they can play left, right. I like that. And for goaltenders, and as much as that hard it will be, I start with Vasilevsky, given his pedigree. But your thoughts on who it could be on your top starting lineup?
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. Well, definitely just kind of looking in here. I don't see how I would. I'm going to go with Kaprizov on the left side, Malkin in the middle, and Kucherov on the right. That'd be my top line. Okay. What I would go with. And then when we're talking, oh boy, I'm trying to remember. Obviously, I would go with Vasilevsky
Provorov,
as well.
Gavrikov, Nichushkin, Artem Zub, Zadorov, Orlov, Labushkin. He's a little bit less, like he'd probably be a bottom pairing guy. But
what was the first two you mentioned? I'm trying to remember.
Nikolaev, Sergachev, Provorov, and Vladislav Gavrikov.
Sergachev. I take Sergachev and I guess
Zub, Nichushkin, Zadorov, Dmitry Orlov.
Orlov. I take Orlov and Sergachev.
Okay, and
I'd want some movement back there to play with those guys up front. What's that?
He says no, Nikishkin. Nikishin? I'm not familiar.
Oh, up front, like from Colorado, I think he's talking about Valerie.
Oh, Nichushkin. Yes, Nichushkin.
Yeah, I think that's
I
what he's
think
talking
he's
about.
a second line guy. Given
Yeah.
I like Kaprizov and what's it called, Kucherov as your top
Well,
wingers.
and my second line, I would have Ovechkin on the left, Panarin on the right, and I'd probably take.
I would have Barbashev there in the middle because he's
I'd
had a
have
good
Barbashev
season.
on the second line in the middle. Yeah, exactly. And and if I had a
They're not
third line,
Russians
I
have a
would
hard
take
time getting someone down
Demidov
the middle.
and
You want
Mishkov
good
on my
middle.
left and right.
Yeah. I just know
Yeah,
it'd be hard to play what's it called,
defense
Ovechkin and Malkin just because
right
of the
now.
fact of their history.
They are so low on their defensemen, like superstar defensemen.
Yeah.
That
So
which is
goaltenders,
very
you
unusual.
have essentially Sorokin, Shesterkin, and Vasilevsky, which how can you not, right? And most likely, I would play Shesterkin and or Vasilevsky.
Nikishin. He might have been talking about the defenseman. I think he's over in L.A. actually, or went to
Oh,
New York.
Alexander Nikishkin. Oh, yes.
Nikishin.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
I think that's who he
No,
was.
that's in Carolina.
Was that Carolina? Man, I
A
can't remember where
24-year-old.
everybody is right now.
Yeah. 56 games, 7 goals. Yeah. He
Yeah.
shoots left. He was a third round pick in 2020. Yeah, sorry, I apologize.
All right. Well, hey,
you can let us know your prediction of what it is.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna get into some news from around the rink. Around the Rink brought to you by Flow Hockey. If you want more great hockey content, go check out Flow Hockey. Sign up and get all things Flow Hockey. All right, Evan, we got quite a bit of news to get through around the rink because, as always, without the NHL, there are still other leagues that are happening. So I did want to get into a few things, including some major suspensions that have taken place in the AHL. The Chicago Blackhawks minor league goaltender Stanislav Berenzoinoi, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, and the Coachella Firebirds forward David Goyette were each suspended 20 games for violating the league's performance-enhancing substance programs, which is one of the higher punishments you can get under their anti-doping policies. So clearly the league is throwing the book at them. They do not want to see this. They do not like it. We don't know all the full details of what specifically, what item they took, but clearly they are not happy with this. Any quick thoughts there?
No, you got to throw the book at players if they're violating your performance enhancing substance programs. It's you know, they talk about culture and how bad it is, and it's a sport culture. It's not just a hockey culture. I mean, we could go on and on around it, but I can tell you this: when it comes to performance enhancing substances, this is one area that they've been pretty strict on, and they've done really good enhancing it, and they start to really get the violators in hockey.
And if you recall, former NHLer, I think he's still playing, but he's on break, Nate Schmidt, for, I believe, the Utah Mammoth, he was suspended 20 games back in 2018, 2019 for his violation of the performance-enhancing substance drugs, which he apologized for and served. So they didn't specify what it was, but he did serve as grass is performance enhancing. So stupid.
Well, and if we can say this, everybody makes mistakes. I don't care because you're a pro. Quit acting like, oh, they're a pro. They know better. They can behave better. They can control their temper. They can. Yeah, you should be better, but you actually have more pressures than any of you guys realize that are calling these guys out. So, hey, man, support them. Get behind them, whether it's mental health, whether some things have gone wrong in their life. Obviously, they shouldn't be back till they got it straightened out. But once they got it straightened out, don't be using the role model thing that, hey, you know, they're not a good role model for my kids. They're sports players. They shouldn't be a role model. Get firefighters and policemen or people like that or whoever. But don't make your role models sports players or actors. That's silly.
We have Olympics, Paralympics, and Special Olympics. I wish they just have steroid Olympics. That would be wild.
I like that one.
I agree. Let's see how wild and insane the human body can get. That would be just insanity, just to see how roided up some players can be, right? It would be insanity.
Yeah, they'd be out there in hockey, just like a thick stick. They can barely move. They'd be like a Gumby. They'd fall down and they can't get up. Their legs.
The neck is the neck guard.
Oh, yeah, their neck is the neck guard. You remember, what was it, though, when they wear the big bubbles and they go out on the ice, like, those big sumo suits?
Oh, yes.
Try and have them play hockey, right? When you go down, you don't get back up.
That would be wild. And in KHL news, they're what's it called? They're having some
Well,
world
I don't
games
know. What's it
taking
called?
place. The Continental Hockey League. Well, I'm getting to it right now. You're just jumping ahead of my
Well, you
schedule.
keep saying, what's it called? And I'm just like, oh, you don't know what it's called.
World games are happening with, of course, the host team, the Shanghai Dragons, hosting a game versus the HC Sibir Novosibirsks on March 5th, and then on March 7th versus the Barist Astana, right? So they are, again, similar to the global series that the NHL hosts. They're trying to promote it in Asia. They're trying to expand in China, right? Which is where the Shanghai Dragons are essentially.
Yeah.
Evan has to be a annoying person to Pawel. No.
What?
Timu says you must be the most annoying person to me. So can we just say we banter a lot, but we appreciate and love each other. We love bugging each other.
Lying.
We pick on each other. It's all good. But the KHL is expanding to China. They're trying to expand in Beijing. They want to get more sponsorship, media exposure, and youth participation. And it gets, of course, fans in Shanghai access to some high-level KHL talent without traveling to Russia or Kazakhstan. And sometimes you got to remember, Evan, not everyone has access to the NHL. Not everyone has the Sportsnet package. So how else can you promote the game? And this is one way to kind of bring it out.
Well, and if I can just say that the World Games, it's been a 6-year break, since they've actually been happened, and it will be played in 18,000 seat arena in China there. So this will be interesting. I'm really curious to what the attendance will be, around that. So this should be good.
Well, and especially you're also building future customers because you want to grow the game and you want people to come to your games. You want them to be season ticket holders. And the other thing I think we talked about this in previous seasons, the comparison between the KHL and AHL. But let's talk about again how potentially there should be a game KHL versus AHL every year. I think that would be fun. You don't think so? The best of the best?
Well,
like an all-star game?
But an AHL is a farm team. The KHL isn't a farm team, no. So you have a semi-pro versus a pro.
Would you want KHL versus NHL?
Yeah, no. Actually, what I'd like is I would actually like to see the KHL versus the SHL versus the Liga, like all the European leagues. To see the winner of those, kind of like a Memorial Cup happens in Canada with the CHL, right? I think kind of a thing put together, and then I'd like to see the winner of that take on the winner of the NHL, like in a 3-game series. It'll never happen. I just can't
my ideas. I'm still sticking with mine, but that's fine. And clearly, you don't like my ideas. So that's...
Mongolian Warriors play hockey.
Mongolian chants. That would be phenomenal. That would be like at the beginning of the game if they had like the anthem in Mongolian chants.
I know where they would play.
Seen, what's it called? Mongolian throat singers. I got to see them a few years back. If they started the performance, that would be phenomenal.
Do you know where they would automatically end up playing in Vegas? That's where they would play because that's where all the entertainment goes.
Hey man, it's a great arena. I've been there. I loved it. It's so much.
What's that, Timo? Evan asked too much. What do I ask too much?
Well, because you want the SHL and all the others versus the KHL. So you're clearly asking for too much. So lower your expectations.
Well, can I just say no one's listening to me anyway?
What we're saying essentially about the KHL World Games is that we want to be flown over to Beijing to watch some of these games so that we can report on it. So if anybody over there is listening, please send us some tickets. We'd greatly appreciate it.
All right. I think we got one last bit of news there.
One last one. So in the CHL, which you love talking about, the juniors and some of the young prospects that are coming through, I wanted to kind of highlight two kind of stars that are kind of emerging. Caleb Denoyer and Justin Carbonneau, both are forwards who have been very productive this year, nearing the top in goal and points while driving play for their respective clubs. Denoyer, of course, he continues to build this draft, being a complete detail-oriented forward who impacts the games in all 3 zone. He's going to be a Steph hyperific for a team that's looking for playoff hockey value. And Justin Carbonneau, of course, we've talked about him before. He's already NHL ready size, protects the puck well. He's got a heavy shot, quick release, particularly dangerous on the power play, and he can drive inside the ice. So he has some talent. Anything to add to any of these players? I know you've kind of highlighted them.
Yeah, well, I mean, we covered them in the draft last year. So you had Denoye at number 4 picked last year, and then you had Carbonneau at number 19. Carbonneau's really taken a good roundabout this year. I think Utah's pretty excited about what they see from Caleb as well. And the Blues, well, they believe strongly in Carbonneau. So these are the kind of talents that, you know, are going to headline future drafts this year. And they're going to be starting to jump quicker to the pros, I think. You're going to be talking about 2 to 3 years. When you're dealing with first round, usually within 3 years, you got these guys already playing up there.
For sure. And Swervin's asking about the Ruck twins out here with the Medicine Hat Tigers. You want to kind of allude a little bit to it?
Yeah. So just for people that did not know, these are twin brothers who are playing
Liam
for Medicine
Noah.
Hat. Huh?
Liam and Noah.
Oh, you're just saying the names. Okay. I was just like, what are you talking about? So they were with the Penticton Vs originally, and then they in the BCHL, and then they moved over here right now to got picked up by the Medicine Hat Tigers. Remember, everything's game now when it comes to all these leagues and crossing over and changing and sanction, you name it. But Liam, I think, is the better player that has a chance of actually being drafted. Not sure Noah will get into the draft because they're smaller. They're looking good. I like everything about them, but I do see them in a later round in the draft. Unfortunately for them, but I don't know. Could it be someone takes a chance on both? Just like the Sedins, they're not as good of players as the Sedins, but they're sure looking like it right now in the WHL. But I will say this: the WHL is in the last 3-4 years. Since coming out of the pandemic, they are not as defensive of a league as we all knew them to be back in the day. So I'm always a little bit more careful. Ever since Connor Bedard and all those started scoring crazy in the WHL, we never saw that kind of scoring back in the day. It's all good. It happens in the OHL constantly. But I just think that I think if you want to watch a game, go to Victory Plus, go download it, get it on your streaming, or get it on your phone and take a watch the Medicine Hat Tigers. These guys got a really good team this year. I'm looking forward to. I wonder if we're going to see an Everett versus Medicine Hat in the playoffs. That would be a good round.
It'd be fascinating. So, who will be the Brian Burke that potentially drafts both those brothers in the first round if they do go in the first round? Who is the next Brian Burke? And on that note, that's been Around the Rink. All right, that's some good information there. And I know, Evan, you wanted to get us through some Ref Top 15.
No, we don't actually have time today because we got some trades that we need to cover. And I know this always takes us a while. So we had just talked quite a bit of Olympics there. So yeah, go. So why don't we do that? Let's talk about this. I'm going to throw some out there for you guys so you guys can take a look-see and kind of get an idea. Kind of what do you think? Like, what's your thoughts on this, okay, folks? Okay, so first up, where there's smoke, there is fire, and there is talk. And Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks is potentially a player who could move to a contender. Now, the Hurricanes have been talked about. Los Angeles seems to be the team. I don't know why people are talking about the Avalanche. They're never going to fit him into their cap. Who are they going to give up to get him? It just doesn't make sense to me at all. I could see Los Angeles doing something. I don't know if it would be a fit over in Carolina. Potentially, that could be something that could make a move. I don't think that is the move for Pettersson. I think maybe over in Los Angeles, gets together with Kuznetsov again, potentially. So that's one of those rumors. Now, what do you think for you, before we go to the next one, what do you think the possibilities of a movement happening right now between now and the draft of Pettersson moving out?
None. Slim to none. I don't think he gets moved right now. I think he get moved in the offseason.
Oh, okay. I don't think you listened to my conversation. I said between now and the trade deadline.
Yeah, and I said slim to none.
Oh, okay.
That's what I said.
I don't think I communicate. I meant between now and the draft.
Oh, okay. That's
okay, guys. That's on me.
Okay, yeah. Then yeah, I would say that yes, he most likely would. I would say there's 50 to 60% chance that he moves to get a fresh start for both player and team, especially if Vancouver's in the process of doing a rebuild. Now, I know that with Anze Kopitar leaving next year, they're going to need another center behind Quentin Byfield, who's probably going to be their 1C. So I could see that being a fit, and Ken Holland's probably going to want to take that risk. What does that look like? What do they give up? Lots of questions to determine, but they will have the cap space to kind of make that 11.6 million work.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 25% chance it can happen by the trade deadline. I'm just gonna say that.
Trade deadline. Okay.
The trade 25% chance, and I think it's a 75% chance that for sure in the offseason he's gone. There's only a 25% chance he's a long-term going to be staying. I don't think they should trade him personally. I think that they should continue. I think that they need to just change some management things. So, all right. So let's move on. The next player, Justin Falk from St. Louis. Okay. Yeah. Look for the Boston Bruins. They're kind of the front runners right now. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, look in the next 7 days. In the next 7 days, soon as the trade deadline freeze comes off, get ready. Because within 7 days, I think he's going to potentially go to Boston. And there's a reason, because they're going to be cleaning out. They want to open up some space to bring some people in. They want to get behind Charlie. They did not expect where they are this time. Also, another player that could be in on this could be the Buffalo Sabres. I know they're loaded with defense. This would just give them depth. They feel like they have a good shot. And the Dallas Stars could be an outside, and even the Utah Mammoth. So these are kind of the teams around it. Thoughts?
I agree. I think he'll be moved. I think that with St. Louis having kind of a non-playoff reach, they're going to kind of retool and build around the core that they have pieces. They've locked up a few pieces like Philip Broberg, so I think they're going to want to move a few of the older guys. And I believe Justin Falk has one more year left after this at a reasonable number with the cap going up. And I think a lot of teams are going to want that right-handed shot defenseman. And I think one of the higher or more positive storylines out of St. Louis this year was or has been Justin Falk. So we'll see how it happens, what happens after the break. But yeah, I could see that being a move happening.
All right. Let's go and maybe pull one right out of the hat that a lot of Flyer fans may not like this, or our good friend Jamie Baska of Flyers Nitty Gritty. Travis Konechny could be on the move, or even Owen Tippett, as well as they have played. Remember who's in there. Tocchet is down there. But Philadelphia Flyers, there has been talks, okay, that Travis Konechny and or Owen Tippett, there has been interest from the Colorado Avalanche and the Edmonton Oilers. Okay. Now, again, we know there was a connection to Travis Konechny before. They couldn't afford it. Couldn't be. Yes, that's right too. But now we know Colorado needs some help. Not sure how they make it work again. Right now, don't worry about how they make it work. The point is they need to do something. And so that I will come to you on one of the reasons why I'm telling you the Oilers and some of their plays that they're trying at right now. Thoughts? Okay. Do you think there's a move for Travis Konechny or Owen Tippett leaving Philadelphia?
Oh, yes. I don't know about Owen Tippett as much, but I do believe Konechny would more likely be, someone that gets moved. And the reason being is because they traded for Owen Tippett for that Claude Giroux trade because they really wanted that player and they really believed in him. And I think that if there's one player that still has a lot of upside is Owen Tippett. He could definitely slot in with the right system, with the right coaching. And again, it's only been 1 year with Tocchet so far. I think they believe he could be a top 6 guy. So I would say that Konechny more likely. And yes, he was one of the ones at Four Nations, if I recall.
That's right. All right, let's move over to Nazem Kadri.
Okay.
The Calgary Flames.
Yep.
There has been talk. He's now more open than he was before. seeing where the team is moving. This would be likely a veteran team meeting that is a contender. He would only be because he has to agree to it. There has been talk about Montreal.
Yes.
There has been talk about Edmonton. I don't even see Edmonton would do it if they could, but there's no way I see Montreal. They seem to not Montreal. Calgary just refuses to do any. I don't know why. If it benefits them and they can get a player they want or a draft pick. And the other one that I could see this move with is the New Jersey Devils. So when it comes to Kadri, now I believe after the lockout, look, this is another player. Give him 3 to 5 days. If this was moving, I could see someone picking him up in the next 3 to 5 days once the trade deadline opens up. Thoughts?
I agree. I think he will move only under the condition that Kadri, which I believe he's been approached and it's been reported by Eric Francis, who's kind of dialed in there, that yes, he would be moved. He would agree to potentially going to a contender for a potential one more year. The question is also going to be not just that Kadri's willing to go, but will Calgary retain any percentage on that 7.5 for, I believe it's 2 or 3 more years after this.
Right.
It's not that much, but it's still a chunk of change. So you got to be able to fit that under a cap, and which is why I believe Montreal feels like the best fit because they have the cap room to make it work. And you're bringing in a guy who's a veteran. Kent Hughes knows Nazem Kadri and what he would be able to bring. So I can see that being a thing. One team that I think that's going to try to make a splash, and I can see it being a thing, Utah. Keep an eye out for Utah. They want to make a splash, and they could definitely benefit from having an additional center there. So
I just can't imagine Kadri wanting to go to Utah, not a contender yet. That's the only reason that.
Fair enough.
Okay, now with that, there is some lines out there that are saying, could there be a deal that might sweeten the pot if Coleman goes with Kadri? Or could Coleman be his own deal? And Montreal and Edmonton are, again, both the teams that are actually mentioned. Now, if there was a Coleman trade on his own, I could see something with an Edmonton situation here.
I see that, yeah.
And only because he's a lesser player. I think he's he would be an excellent complementary player.
Well, he has a smaller cap hit and 1 more year, I believe, after this. And he
exactly
exceeds all expectations for what he does, and he's a playoff performer. So I could see him being moved most likely. That's a player that's probably going to get moved by the trade deadline no matter what.
Okay, next one up, Michael Bunting, from the Nashville Predators. Now, he's wrapping up his season, so he's going to be a free agent. So this is a rental to a playoff team like potentially the Golden Knights or the Florida Panthers. Someone like this that will pick him up as an extra player, give them some depth to it. If it's not one of those teams, it will be maybe a bubble or a playoff team. Thoughts, Michael Bunting, and what's the chance of him going by the trade deadline?
I can see a 50-50 potential, maybe 60% of him going. However, I will disagree with Florida that he will go there because I think this is not Florida's year. They don't have to do much. They're still waiting on the status of their captain Barkov. And it looks like they may miss the postseason this year. And why not just hold pat for 1 more season? Because you also have to figure out what you're doing with Sergei Bobrovsky in the offseason. Vegas seems like the perfect kind of cop-out because he's a player that's not going to cost you a lot, and you bring him in, and they already did the Rasmus Anderson trade. So I don't think they have a lot to work with, but I can see them juggling something around and moving him over. And Swervin said, I'd rather have Lomberg over Coleman, younger and cheaper. I agree. But both have experience. Both have won. The thing with Coleman is that he can play in all situations. He's a penalty killer. He can be a power play specialist. Usually plays on the second power play unit in Calgary. He has a lot of opportunity. But, yeah, Bunting, I see potentially moved. And Lost Trucker asked, do you think Islanders grab up top players? That would be my dark horse for Michael Bunting. I could see them going for somebody who's physical. And the only reason I think they don't go for a top player is they've already made their trades with Carton Soucy coming over from New Jersey and Andre Palat. So they've already done their business. I'm not saying they're going to be done, but it looks like they've got what they wanted for this.
You think where they're at? No, that'll be interesting. I don't think they're staying pat. All right, next one up. Elias Lindholm from Boston Bruins. They are looking to make a change and make a run right now, and this would be to a rebuilding team if they can move him out. So look for an Anaheim or a Chicago kind of situation. What would he be like? Would he fit well into a Chicago? Would he be a better complementary player in Anaheim? Because they are looking at someone like Justin Falk, right? If you got to bring in some money, you need to be able to move some money out. So they actually want to clear space for that bigger ads like Falk, okay? And let's face it, he's underperformed this year, but his value as a two-way bet with rebuilders like Anaheim or Chicago could take him for some future picks. But their deadline maneuverability is pointing to a must trade. So get ready for the Boston Bruins to optimize their roster. A lot of chatter.
He does have a no movement clause, though, so he would have to agree to it.
It sounds like they have already had conversations with him. So a lot of the chatter from 4 different groupings is suggesting it's brewing for some cap relief here, and they might have been pushing. Now, no idea. We haven't heard back if he says yes or no, but the fact that it just hasn't been squashed yet would be interesting around it.
So you indicated Anaheim, and Lost Trucker says that Anaheim, I think, would be a better fit. I think if you see Lindholm go to Anaheim, watch for Ryan Strome to be moved out with his contract of 5.25 or 5.5 million.
They've been trying to move
years left to move it out to make the money work, because they're getting close to the cap as well as in Anaheim. So, and they have some expiring contracts as well. So they're going to have to do some juggling this offseason. Pat Verbeek's got some work on his hand.
All right. Next one.
Middle 6-winger center leaves you wanting for more if you slot him at 1C. I agree. He's not a 1C. He's usually 2C or 3C. And he fit perfectly in that 3C role in Vancouver, which is why that team was so successful and took Edmonton to 7 games.
Yeah, I totally agree. Talking about Edmonton, let's move over. I know that we're hitting up against the time, guys. Andrew Mangiapane, I'm hearing there is 2 different takers, but the cost they're trying to weigh out is they're not just moving him out without having to bring something back or having to give something away. And so right now they're trying to figure out what's out there if they can do it. They are trying to clear almost $6 million of cap to make some moves. Hence now Travis Konechny, but that requires someone like Mangiapane and even Janmark actually going out so that they can chase some bigger fish like Konechny. So we'll see. That's been what they've wanted for a while. Last thoughts on that move?
It'd be interesting to see what they do. I know there's interest in Mangiapane. Anaheim is one of those teams. Toronto's another one. The one thing I would say is that I think Edmonton needs to be mindful of who they bring back, because they really still need to have that bottom role player to fill in and know their role, that they're not going to get as much ice time as the big guns.
Okay, no, that's fair. So that covers us for the NHL. My last piece before we go out is I'm ready for hockey history. So if you got something you want to do, and I'll finish my last part with hockey history.
I've got nothing on my end. I think it's been phenomenal. I'm excited for more Olympic hockey, albeit it's short, brief. Congrats to all the countries, not only just in hockey, but all the events. I've tried to tune into as much as I can, whether it's the sledding, the curling debacle that's been happening, the figure skating, whatever I can watch. I'm trying to catch a glimpse of it because it's been exciting, phenomenal. And I think that Italy has done a beautiful job hosting all around. So I applaud it. And I've enjoyed kind of the storylines coming out of it. So that's pretty much it on my end. But we can get into a little hockey history.
Just paying tribute to the Olympics, and really there has been so much talk about one of the greatest lines to play together being Celebrini, McKinnon, and McDavid. I mean, could that compare? And of course, in the Olympics, no. Is there another line that could compare? The talk was around Howard-Chuck with Gretzky and Lemieux in the Canada Cup. That would probably be the closest line that could have been at some time. But can I just say this? In light of the Olympics and the talk of one of the greatest lines to ever play together on Best and Best, not to mention the fact that Russia, we talked about earlier, has been banned from playing because of the sanctions. with the war, I wanted to pull out some hockey history that probably few of you actually know about, but you may know who I'm talking about. And I'm wanting to talk about the Red Army trio that could have changed the world. Okay, what I'm talking about is I want you guys to imagine the most talented young line in hockey history. Yeah, that's right. 3 future Hall of Famers that were skating together as teenagers for the Soviet Red Army team. This is pre-KHL. Okay, this is Super League days. We're talking Pavel Bure, Sergei Fedorov, and Alexander McGillney. Folks, that was speed, skill, sniping, pure magic that the fact that they only got one big showcase together and then the Iron Curtain cracked or it got ripped apart. But back in the late 80s, CSKA Moscow, who was known as the Central Red Army Club, was the powerhouse of Soviet hockey for those that don't know. And they had a mandatory military service that they funneled the best talent. So you had all the legends like Larionov and Fedosov coaches. But Viktor Tikhonov was building a next wave of players at this point. So Fedorov joins the first right around 1986 at 16 years old. He was a do-everything center. Then came Alexander McGillney, and he was an explosive scorer. And then a year later, the youngest joins Pavel Bure, the Russian Rocket, as Glenn Ringdahl, one of our earliest guests from a few seasons ago, actually came on and dubbed the Russian Rocket and paid for those rights right here. We discussed on Two Guys in Hockey Talk. He debuted at 16 with some insane speed. Now, I want you guys to get this. They skate together in the Red Army team for only a short window in 87 to 89. And in club game, they dismantled opponents, won championships, fireworks. But the 1989 World Junior Championship in Anchorage, Alaska, this is their one massive moment as a line. Bure led, 7 games, 14 points with 8 goals. McGillney, he had a measly 12 points with 7 goals. And Fedorov had 12 points with 4 goals. But together, 38 points, domination in 7 games. They went on to gold. Scouts actually call it maybe the greatest World Junior Championship line ever assembled in the U20. And Fedorov himself actually on Spit and Chicklets just recently, which gave me this idea tonight, he talked and he said it felt great from the get-go. Him and Alex got together in the Red Army and Pawel came in. He says, we won. It was unreal. But what was really cool, and I'm going to wrap with this, right after that triumph and another gold at the Senior World Championships, the story flipped. And in May 1989, McGillney defected dramatically right after the World, sneaking to the Buffalo Sabres, the first big Soviet star to bolt mid-career. Huge Cold War news. And then Fedorov followed 1990, slipping away during the Goodwill Games to actually join Detroit. Not looked at as a defection, however. Bure got locked into a long Army contract to stop that from happening after McGillney. So he had to wait longer to get to Vancouver in 1991. And they never reunited as a line. Bure, Fedorov, McGillney. Man, they were the most incredible 3 Hall of Fame talents with cups. And to think of Fedorov with cups, a heart, Bure with rocket Richards, McGillney with over 1,000 points. They could have been unstoppable. Guys, that's hockey history.
And Swervin says Bure and McGillney played together briefly in Vancouver. Yes, I do remember that. That was phenomenal. And of course, he was an athletic freak because his dad was an Olympic level swimmer. I mean, in general, he was one of the best skaters in the NHL that I have ever seen. The way he went on the ice, just so smoothly. I mean, you think about edge work today. I mean, he was kind of the guys that was able to first really hone in on it or perfect it, right? So that's pretty much it. Thanks, Timu. Appreciate it. That has been our show for tonight. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Swervin, Lost Trucker, everyone else who's out there in the universe watching later on in the week. We appreciate it. We are here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We are on Facebook, X, YouTube, and on Instagram, as well as Discord. We love hearing from you guys. We have a website where you can get all our articles and previous guests that have attended on the show. And of course, thank you to all our sponsors who have worked with us in promoting and supporting our show. And if you want to get involved, feel free to reach out at twoguysinhockeytalk@gmail.com. We love hearing from you. You can find us on our Twitter/X handles at Revenev or myself at hockey_2. And we love seeing you. And we will be back next Wednesday when the hockey season in the NHL is back in full swing. Any final thoughts, Evan?
All I can say is enjoy the rest of the Olympics with the best on best, because we got 2 more years before we see it again.
Yeah.
As we say every week, in the meantime and in between time.
Keep your sticks on the ice. Stay safe. Have a good night, guys.